Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Mount & Blade Warband. See, told you I wasn't going to just abandon this. I wouldn't abandon old... What's his name? Oh, jeez, what is his name? I don't remember what I named him. Did I name him after myself? Yes I did. See, that would make sense. And he has skills. And things. I've just spent the last hour trying to get the sound at some semblance of right. Mount & Blade Warband really wanted its music to be heard, and you can hear it's still quite loud. I've done the best I can. The music volume slider is almost gone, and yet those trumpets are still going. When we left last time, we had a job to do. Go over and save Epeshe. Strange name village. But I realized I've been playing this and haven't really been explaining what all Mount & Blade Warband really is. Not so much about, but what all the various pieces are that fit together. I just sort of jumped into it and didn't give any sort of explanation of what I was doing. That's not quite right. Shouldn't have done that. Totally my bad. Sorry. So we'll start with these buttons down here. The camp button. Set up camp. Take an action where you can recruit some prisoners to your party, which can be good if you want to get some of those bandits that you've captured and turn them into useful members of society, as it were. But if you do that, you will make the rest of your party a little bit unhappy with you. And if you want to keep morale up, not a good choice to do. You select a book to read. Books are very expensive. They're useful, but we won't be getting books for quite some time. I'm not going to retire from adventuring. No, that'd be silly. Waiting here for some time will just let us rest. We're going to resume traveling. Reports gives us an idea of our renown, which is not too useful at the moment. Our honor rating, also not all that useful at the moment. This will help us get better jobs and stuff later. Our party morale, we have excellent morale. And our size limit, how many dudes I can kind of string along with me. That is partially influenced by the charisma and leadership, I think. I'll have to look at the stats a little bit later. Character report, basically, haven't made any friends, no enemies. Party size, oh, there's party size report. That tells us basically what goes into the size of the party. I don't have any companions, those will come up later. See? Weekly budget report just tells me how much I'm paying out and how much is coming in. I don't have any coming in yet. Party morale report. See? The size, as you get more people, it gets harder to keep them happy, so you get a little downside to your party size. I don't know anyone. Courtship relations, yeah, don't have anything there yet. He's very lonely. Again, no one cares about me. This will change as we carve out our little kingdom. They won't be happy. Oh, whoops. Oh, wrong thing. Anyway, that's all the reports. As I click on random things. Notes. This tells us our quest. See? And you can click on that to get an idea of the village, and it'll show it on the map. This is very, very useful because of all the terrible names of the various places. You won't be able to remember where they're all at. Well, some of them with very, odd names. I mean, as I give everyone, motion sickness here, you will remember Fizdnar. Simply because of the name. And it's all the way at that end of the map. It's very easy to remember. And the various towns, of course you'll know where those are at. Notes also has things like the log, those little things that pop up at the bottom of the screen. It'll keep track of them for you. Erase messages. Concepts. We're not going to go through all this. It just gives a general idea of everything. Yeah, not reading all that out. Huge list of the characters. This can be very useful if you're trying to figure out what relation a certain person has to other people. So you know if you kill this person, who is going to be annoyed by it, or which castle or other holdings a person has. Locations, again, if you just know that you need to find a certain place, or I'm not sure where it's at, in alphabetical order, you can click on the name of the place, show it on the map. Factions. This shows what places they occupy, what are the parts of their territory, who their vassals are, and who they're at war with. There is no point in time, as far as I'm aware, that a faction is that all of the factions are at peace, that no faction is not at war with anyone else. That didn't come out entirely right, but you know what I mean. Everybody has issues. Someone is going to be at war with someone else at any given point. You can exploit that to grab some of their territory sometimes, because if all of their forces are off fighting someone else, then no one's back guarding the little castle you want to take. But be very careful, because they will come back to get it later. So if you're going to do that, take something you can defend. Inventory, we've seen this screen a lot. I don't have a lot. Character, just shows the skills and things. Iron Flesh, not all that useful. I mean, yeah, you get plus 2 hit points per point you put into it, but really, there's better things to put your skill points into, in my opinion. Now, you notice that says it's a personal skill. That means that it only affects you. Power Strike, very useful. Power Throw, not all that useful except for tournaments, really, because throwing equipment has limited numbers of use. Same as with arrows, but less of them. You'll generally get like maybe 5 javelins. Yeah, you're not going to do a whole heck of a lot with that unless someone is running away from you and you really want to take them down and don't have time to use a bow or a crossbow. Power Draw. This helps you use bows better. Again, mostly useful in tournaments because, well, unless you want to make life hard for yourself and make a bow build. Weapon Master. Without Weapon Master, you can't really advance these efficiently. They'll still go up a little bit as you use them, but you can't drop points into them past a certain point. As you see, it increases the proficiency limits. Shield. Very, very useful, especially when you're attacking a castle and it's full of archers and you would really like your shield to last longer as it's protecting you. Athletics makes you faster. Especially makes you faster when you have your sword out, or if you're in heavy armor. We'll have heavy armor later. Riding. Riding not only makes you faster on your horse, it lets you use higher levels of horses. Horse archery does what it says it does. Looting says it increases the amount of loot based per skill level. I've never seen much of a difference. You get what you get. I generally let other people in the party learn that one. As you see, it says it's a party skill, which means you can have companions learn it and it will affect the entire party. You don't really need to learn this yourself. Let your companions learn it. Let them, help you out with it. Trainer, very useful. While it is a personal skill, I've noticed that if you have your companions also learn it, they will contribute to the training of your troops. So you're training the troops, and they are also training the troops. So even though it's not a party skill, it still benefits the entire party. So put some points in for yourself, put some points in for your companions. We'll see companions later if I ever find any. Tracking just makes the map a mess. I find it pointless because you're going to get better information asking someone where someone else is at rather than trying to follow their tracks. Tactics. Starting battle advantage is nice because it means you start in a better position and with more troops than your opponent does. That will save your life on many occasions. Again, party skill. So everyone who has tactics will contribute. Pathfinding. Oh wait, no, sorry. That just helps the entire party, not just you. Not everyone will contribute. You know what I mean. Actually, you don't know what I mean. That's why I'm explaining it. Someone in your party can have it, and it will help the entire party. That's what I meant by party skill. I'm sorry, I'm still having problems with the music blaring in my ear. Pathfinding. Again, someone else in your party can have it, and pathfinding is awesome. Pathfinding makes you go faster on the map. That's all it does. That's all it needs to do. It's wonderful. Spotting. Spotting is also useful. But again, someone else in your party can have it. It will affect the whole party. Inventory management. Leader skill. Only affects you. For some reason, there are companions who have inventory management, which makes no sense because you never access their inventory except to, put equipment on them. They don't have an inventory. It's weird. They can't give you extra inventory slots. If it was a party skill, that'd be nice because then they could have inventory management and give you extra space. But it's not. So, leader skills only affect the leader of the party, otherwise known as you. If you put points into them, it affects just you. Personal skills affect the character. That is, we don't have a companion, so I can't really show you the difference between different people. And party skills affect the entire party. Clear on that? I really hope so. I'm bad at explaining. Wound treatment. Again, useful. Heals your party outside of combat. Surgery. Very, very useful, especially later when you have a larger party, because when you have trained someone all the way up to the highest level of their skill tree, like say you've taken someone from a Swadian recruit all the way up to a Swadian knight, and they get knocked down in combat, you'd really rather they were wounded instead of dead, because that's a lot of time you put into them. First aid, take it or leave it. While it does mean that your hero's companions and leader will heal up faster after a battle, resting also heals them up quickly. So, engineer will only really be useful once you actually have somewhere to live or you start assaulting castles. You can build it up early, but don't worry about it too much right at the beginning. Persuasion theoretically helps you recruit people that are prisoners, and also, it's supposed to help you when you're talking to NPCs. I have never yet seen it help me when I'm talking to NPCs. And prisoners, it's kind of a toss-up, and also I don't generally recruit a lot of prisoners unless I get some really good ones. But prisoner management, useful if you're wanting to sell a lot of prisoners, which sometimes I do. Leadership, very good for keeping your party morale up, and also for keeping them cheap. As you see, each level reduces troop wages by 5%. Trade, well, It's useful if you want to do a lot of trading runs and make money off of that, but otherwise, not all that useful. I mean, if you're running mods, then it's useful because there's a lot more trading you can do, but things end up not being worth it for trade runs in vanilla Mount and Blade Warband unless you're really, really far along. In my experience, anyway. I'm probably quite wrong. That happens a lot. And we've seen the party area. See, there we have the party skills: surgery, wound treatment, and tactics. And the people. Got one. The one of two means that there's currently one active out of the two Burdock tribesmen that I have. One of them is wounded, and one of them is active, because I've got 1 out of 2. So I have militia, 0 of 1. None of them are active out of the 1 that I have available. So, 1 of them is wounded out of the 1 available. 4 of 6. You get the general idea. 4 out of 6 of them are active. So, I really should rest up some and let them all heal up before I go and do the next mission. Got 2 looters as prisoners. Only using 16 out of my 67 for the full company I can get. Oh, this +1 over here, that's kind of odd. Generally, you get the bonus if you've got someone else, a companion, who has... I guess it's just preemptively calculating it. For every 2 points that someone else has in a party skill, you can get a bonus to the person who has the highest skill in it. So they're contributing, basically. I guess I'm contributing to myself? Kind of weird. Anyway, that's kind of going over a bit more how the interface, at least, is, and a general idea of skills and all that sort of stuff. You've seen my banner. Only noblemen can carry banners. Those who either own land, or in my case, I started as a noble. Chose that in character creation. So that'll make people a little happier around me, and if I do end up taking my castle and starting to hold land, the other nobles won't be quite as pissed at me as otherwise. If I was a commoner and started, you know, taking a castle and saying, nope, this is mine, I'm making my own country, then no one would really want to deal with me. That would be bad. So this has gone from being a full mission type thing, episode, to being just me clicking on buttons and showing stuff that I really should have done in the first Let's Play episode that I did. And I do apologize, I should have covered all of this earlier. Hopefully it makes things a little less confusing. Maybe. Whoops, wrong button. I didn't even go into the difference between cutting and, or crush. Cutting? Yeah. Cutting and piercing damage. Or blunt damage. If you deal someone blunt damage, it knocks them out. Wounds them, so you can capture them instead of killing them outright. And different types of damage do better against different types of armor. And it gets all sorts of confusing. Piercing damage is basically armor piercing. I think maybe on the next episode I'll just go right back into jumping into the action. How does that sound? Probably much more interesting. We'll see. So I'll see you next time. Bye.